You're listening to the Power Platform People podcast on the CRM Audio Network with the bearded CRM guy Ian Connolly and the Mark Christie. The guys will take you on a journey of the Power Platform community. Here we go. Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to the podcast with your favourite app and check out crm.audio for information on all the other shows on the network.
Captain's log, star date, whatever, we're on now.
Yeah, back to reality. Everything's calmed down a little bit after Scottish Summit. Well, I say calm down. Calm down as we're about to enter a lockdown state. That has to come. And we'll come back round to the whole lockdown coronavirus situation. But Scottish Summit was so long in the planning that it feels weird that it's done and dusted. And that's it. Almost for, well, that is that for Scottish Summit 2020 anyway, isn't it?
Oh, don't say 2020 anyway. That just leads on to folk thinking, there's another one. Shh. Don't even start.
Yes, so we have had nearly a month to recover before we actually can sit down and get together and talk about this, because obviously work's been busy and everything else as well, and a few little bits to tidy up here and there, but
I mean, to be fair, we've not actually talked that much over the past month.
No, I know, it's strange from speaking several times a day, easily. The past month, we've been in social isolation ourselves already. I think somebody messaged me the other night on my phone saying, "You've been quiet, are you okay?" I was like, yeah, I think I've just taken a bit of a social media break.
Yeah, no, I've done that. I've barely tweeted over the past 2 weeks. I mean, to be fair though, I've been like really, really tired for like, you see, after Summit, so the Sunday when I got home, I fell asleep that afternoon, and then literally I've been in bed at like 10 o'clock most nights. I mean, the puppy has been a bit of a nightmare getting up at like 5 in the morning, but hopefully that
Little Springer will do that for you, won't he?
Oh, little Springer will end up in the penalty box. That's where he's going.
Oh, I've told Arthur so many times he's going to cat and dog home. I don't think he knows what it is, but I hope he's scared of it.
I actually was watching, so I mean, we're going to talk about this later on as well, but in my infinite pearls of wisdom and scrolling through Reddit, there was a video of a guy like saying, like, he was doing, dogs don't understand what you're saying, but what they were doing was saying it in a way to get the dog excited or sad. So he's like, I'm going to put you in a home. You're going away. We'll never see you again. You're such an amazing dog that I want rid of you. And the dog's tail was wagging. He was jumping up and down. He was like, brilliant. And then he was like, shouting at the dog, "You're the best dog I've ever seen in my life." And the dog was like, whimpering away. It's like, that is brilliant. They have absolutely no idea.
No, it's just sound recognition. It's the tone, isn't it?
Yes.
But I suppose that actually goes, not part of anything we're talking about, but it does go to show how much the song and dance of what you're saying is how it's understood. It doesn't matter what you're saying, but the way you say it, the way you accentuate words or don't, and things like that completely set the tone of the conversation.
Yep. So, like, every time I'm like, "You're the ugliest little dog I've ever seen in my life, aren't you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, he likes me,
Yeah, that's me. Rub my belly.
Well, he's actually, he's got, I don't know if I told you this actually, again, because we've not spoke much, he has a hernia.
Oh, does he? A puppy hernia?
Yes, he's got a wee puppy hernia that when he gets the inside his nose clipped and sorted so he can breathe properly and doesn't sound like me 10 stone ago snoring, it'll be all right. I mean, that's what keeps me up most of the night is a dog. Like, I mean, I actually thought at one point when this whole corona thing kicked off that the army were landing in my garden with a chopper because he was snoring that much.
Telling you, I snore, but snoring is just a way to say to people, I'm sleeping and you're not.
I've never thought
And
about
it's
that.
obviously, that's all it is. And it's every species does the same thing. Dogs do, everybody else does it, but they're just like, I'm sleeping and you're not. So that annoys me when somebody's snoring that loud, because I'm like, they're doing that thing, they're telling me they're asleep, but I'm not. I can't sleep now.
Bastards. So no,
Exactly.
I think the other part of it as well was it was a 3-day thing. So I mean, it was
exhausting.
Yeah, I mean,
it was absolutely exhausting.
The what was the first day? The Thursday was Nick Dolman.
Thursday.
Nick Dolman. That was actually brilliant. I kind of sat up the back of the room and listened in, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Well, I tried. That was my plan, was to sit at the back of the room and listen in. But I ended up just doing little bits of work here and there because there was still so much
Yep.
things that had to get organised and emails back and forth. And I thought, oh, I'd be able to sneak in that session and listen. And what I heard was amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm so annoyed at the same time because I've got these snippets of things I just don't know how they join together.
And today's podcast is sponsored by Nick Dolman. Go and sign up for his online course.
Yeah, I need to do that.
No, it was good, and everyone loved it, and everyone got something out of it. So that's quite
Yes.
cool. We never done
then went on
anything
to
Thursday night, did we?
No,
Oh,
I went
I
home.
did. Remember, I had my daughter stuffing 1,000 named
Oh, yeah.
named
The name
badges.
badges
Yeah,
for the 1,000 people that had registered.
yep, 1,000 names
Yeah.
and badges poked in the little things.
I mean, the people that didn't come and collect theirs, I've got them in the house if you want to come and get them. I'll still give you the name badge in the lanyard.
Yeah, just don't register next year because you're banned. Like there is
Yeah.
there is a certain name who has now done that for 3 different events that we've run, and I'll tell you about it later. But he's on the list.
Oh, it has to be.
He is on the list of Jericho.
He knows who he is as well, but on the list of Jericho, amazing.
I'm just looking. I'm out in the office, just looking at my wee pop vinyl collection and having my wee Chris Jericho with his list. I'm like, yep, he's on the list. He has made
That's
the
worse.
list.
That's worse than Santa's bad list, right?
Oh yeah.
But
So
yeah, so we done that the Thursday. I did go out for dinner with a few people on the Thursday and kind of tried to go and see if I knew people were in town. I go to try and say hi and stuff like that. So I was running about a wee bit Thursday night. Then on Friday we were at the Scottish Unitic to do the hackathons. So we had Ben Vollmer doing his resource scheduling optimization, RSO stuff. I kind of tried to really sell that for a lot of people who were interested in field service because RSO, you can't get a trial instance of it.
yeah,
It's the only place you're really going to get hands-on for it. And from Ben and access to the rest of the guys behind him there as well, that's such an amazing thing to get there, to see it hands-on, understand what it's doing and ask questions. And then we also you had Manuela, didn't you, over at
yes,
Incremental?
I had Manuela, and it was Power Platform admin and around the governance on it. So it was quite good, and it was actually, for me, it was really good because I managed to get some tips and tricks because I delivered that session a week later at Microsoft in Edinburgh, so I stole a lot of her content.
Cool.
But no, that was good. Again, everyone got it, loads of questions. Yeah, and obviously
That's cool.
I was running back and forward between unis, between Kilt Shop, between where else was I don't know. I mean, I've probably done more miles on the Friday than I did on the Saturday.
It's scary to think. And then the last session that we had on the Friday was the demystifying the CDS, which was Chris Huntingford, Lucy. I don't know why Chris always gets his surname when I say his name.
Chris Huntingford, Lucy Muscat, and Lee Barker.
Lucy Muscat, Lee Barker, Al Earley. Is it Earley? There was a whole cohort of people in there helping take that class, so that's that hackathon, and that was quite a full class. It was really busy as well, and I think a lot of people got a lot out of there as well. They actually had a challenge in it as well, where they had to basically build a solution using the Power Platform as much as they could, and it was like called Captain Planet, saving the planets and stuff like that as well. So that was really good, and have to thank our sponsors for the hackathons as well, for the lunch, etc., that we put on there.
Yes, we do indeed. So that was good. I mean, do you know what? There's 2 bits I'll remember of that. One of them is me. There was me, you, Chris, and Brett in the room next door while Chris was on a call.
Yeah,
They paid me like
Chris was on a work call, and we were kind of in the room slightly hyper because Brett's come over from South Africa, a guy we've known from our podcast beforehand and stuff as well, where we spoke about mental health, and we've both been on his podcast talking some stuff, and it's the first time we've actually physically met the guy.
Yep.
So there was a whole bit of hyperness around that as well, and then Chris is trying to have a serious work call when we're basically just
being children,
kids running about and taking the mick, and noise them up as much as we can.
So we went from there to the speaker's meal,
Mm.
which I think went off without a hitch.
Yeah, the speaker's meal was really good. Again, thanks to the university for that, for kind of hosting it for us. We had 90 odd speakers, 90 people booked in for that, and trying to find somewhere to host that itself in Glasgow with that many people.
Yeah, was
And we wanted to have it as a more social thing than being a meal, like a finger buffet style thing, something like that, rather than a sit down formal meal. Sometimes they just take too long. So the uni put on a space for us, and that was amazing. I had some good food, had some good chats, and then from there on went to the pub with a few other people. I think we kind of retired quite early
Yeah, I was going to
before.
say, I mean, that's what happened for everyone else, but what happened for us was we got out of that place, we sorted a few boxes, and then because we hadn't had anything to eat, we actually got some pizza on the way back to the hotel. That's really what happened. And I just remembered that. We got an upgrade on the pizza because of my Misfits t shirt, didn't we?
Oh yeah, the guy came out the back like, "Where'd you get your T-shirt?" We were like, "Sorry, what? This is not what we were expecting." Like, "I've given you a bigger pizza." Like, okay, thanks, pal.
Yeah, there was honestly, for some reason, there was about 3 or 4 folk that night mentioned the the t-shirt, which reminds me actually. So we didn't obviously go straight back then at that point, did we? Because I remember being in some bar that we took everyone over to at some point, because that's where other folk were mentioning the t-shirt as well.
Yeah, so we ended up down Brewdog
Is that where it
because there
was?
was folk down at Brewdog. So we went to Brewdog for a while, and then on the way back up, went into the hotel and said hi to a few people in the bar there, and ended up getting some pizza and going to bed basically.
Yeah, and I never even ate any of the pizza. We actually had the pizza for breakfast, didn't we?
Yeah, at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And like 5, 6 in the morning or something like that, a slice of pizza for breakfast. It was still warm, to be fair, from the night before.
So the staple diet of cold morning pizza and tablet.
Tablet, yeah, my mum, God bless her, made tablet for everybody again. Lucy requested tablet because she had some last year, and I told my mum, and she made me like not even a carrier bag, like a hold all a tablet.
It was much better than the vegan stuff I tried to make. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's because it's got proper milk and proper butter in it.
Yeah.
I don't know, tablet's just not my thing, but yet it was a bit of a lifesaver on the Saturday
Oh yeah.
because just needs a bit of sugar sometimes to keep us going. So Saturday morning, 7 o'clock at the uni for a setup.
Yep.
We had our volunteers coming in, so I mean, we need to give a massive shout out to the guys that were volunteering.
Oh yeah.
We
Without a doubt.
can't thank them enough, and can't thank Robert enough for helping organise all of that. It made our day so much easier, actually, because
Without a
there
doubt.
was
Yeah. If they weren't there, we'd have been screwed.
oh, that would have been crazy. There was like some things about where people had set up, some of the sponsors set up at the not the tables we had planned for them, so things like on the app and stuff weren't quite right because of that, but that's fine. But just logistics on the day, but missing pits that they were expecting or missing a plug or things like that. The volunteers we had were just on it. They'd come and tell us this needs done, but we'll get it done, just letting you know it needs done, and everything else. It was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So the main thing I actually remember from the Saturday morning was dressing John in his kilt.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. What met the guy the night before at dinner. The
Yep.
next morning, I'm dressing him like he's father of the bride at my wedding.
That's exactly it.
It's the weirdest thing ever, right, John? This is how you put on your shoes. This is how they tie them up. He had that whole question of, am I a true Scotsman or not?
Yep.
It's like, well, John, that's really your decision, but it's up for other people to find out.
And we did warn him that there was a little
So,
step before the front row.
yeah, so he chose what he was going to do, and that's up to him to either reveal or not reveal to you.
Yep.
But yeah, we had that conversation, and he got his family tartan, which
Yep.
is awesome. It's a nice thing to be able to give him. He got Gavin, the piper, to come back this year
Yeah. With a
and bring
friend.
his brother-in-law for the drummer. Yeah, which was a little bit extra, a wee bit value add as we go. We like to make it a little bit bigger always. Again, they look amazing. They always look amazing.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
he's,
just
he's, he's such a good guy.
it was different from. I mean, last time on the keynote, the 300 room wasn't totally full. Like there was space on the right hand
Mm.
side. And looking back at some of the pictures, it's like, yeah, it was busy, but I mean, I think this year, when you look at the back of the pictures, when we had dimmed the lights and it was purple and the crowd and the whole place, 450 folk, even just at that point before everyone else appeared or had to go to
It's
the
crazy.
place, it just looks
Like that
amazing.
that picture for me is amazing. Like obviously standing there, you look up and you do the whole sort of you judge the room and you look at the room and you talk to the room.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're spatially aware of the size of the room. That's a big room. You can't see right to the back of it when you're at that front of that stage talking.
No. I mean, if I'm really honest, I was just like, right, we know we've got about 3 minutes because John likes to talk.
Yeah. So we got our bit. We had to do a little bit of chat, a little bit of an intro, and then you're just kind of looking and you walk off and you're just then, as soon as you step outside and off that stage, I was like, right, what's next? Right, who do I need to get where? What do I need to get where? I wasn't thinking about how well was John's speech going. Even though I jumped back into the control room and had a look and watch it for a bit, there's just so much organisation running about to get done that the day goes by in a blink. It's the longest day of your life, but also the shortest day of your life.
One of the funniest things was you were about 3 minutes behind me for everything. Like
Yeah,
I went into the speakers room and Ian's like, "Oh, I'm in the speakers room. Yeah, I was in there 3 minutes ago. I'm now here." And then Ian's like, "Yeah, I'm there now. Oh, I've gone on to the next bit." It was like we were chasing each other around all day. I think I've actually seen
it's
you about 3 or 4 times all day.
it's funny looking at the pictures the photographers taking. Right, but we're not in a lot of them. I just don't think we stood still.
Yeah, or if we are, there's like a motion blur behind us.
Yeah, it it's such a I don't know if anybody's got any stories that they want to come and tell me about what I was doing, going to fill in this blank spaces because I've got selective amnesia about it. I think.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, there are just little flashbacks that I get here and there. But I
yeah.
sat in one session for about 20 minutes and that was it.
Well,
I
that
think you
yeah, I
managed to
sat in a
you
few
got one,
sessions.
didn't you?
I managed it. I got two sessions, 2.5 sessions out the whole day, and I wanted to make a point of getting some sessions. There were some sessions I really wanted to go and view, particularly like the accessibility, the disabled and accessibility stuff like that within O365 and what it can do. Like being dyslexic, there's lots of stuff there that I had no idea. I just have the things that I do to make everything work for me.
I
But
mean,
I
to be
was
fair,
doing all this stuff, and I was like,
you
"Whoa,
struggled to even get the title out there.
the what? Sorry."
You struggled to even get the title of the session out there, Jesus.
I don't know what the session was called. What ended up happening was I took somebody to the session because they were looking for a room, and I was like, "I'll come up with you." And as I got there, I was like, "Oh, this is on my list. This is one of the sessions I really want to go to."
Yeah. Now, literally,
So
I got half of one. I got 20 minutes of one session. Then I was going to sit in Janet's session, but that people just started pouring into that room. I mean, I one of the pictures that I took myself was me lying on the floor outside the room with people sitting on
mm,
the floor watching her.
yeah, and as Janet said herself, following it back of that, she always goes on about how user adoption people don't care about. Testify to that. That that that's bollocks now. Like, that if anything, that was the room that was the foolish room at that point in time. I went to go down and
Yep.
do the same as you done. I think at the point you were taking the picture, I'm looking at it like that's amazing. That's amazing to see because it's one thing I've always been an adopter of.
Yep. Oh,
It's
actually, yeah,
even before I met Janet.
we did actually. I remember seeing you at that point because we did walk along and then somebody grabbed us, didn't they?
Yeah.
So,
Uh, but do you know, with 90 odd sessions, almost 100 sessions, go without any major hiccup.
I mean, we,
Everything was
we
good.
did have one last minute change. So there was somebody that couldn't come because their work had shut down.
Yes.
Early adopters, shall we say, of the COVID-19 policies.
Yeah.
Sharon Sumner, and literally this morning, so this will probably go out. That might go out today, might go out tomorrow. But we loaded up her session. She recorded it, so it's now live. So it's a secret special session. If you go onto YouTube, you will find
Yep.
her session. So we've given you one extra.
Yep. The only other hiccup that I'm majorly aware of that was a little bit close. Who tries to fly without having valid ID?
Michael Roth does.
Gets to the airport, realizes his ID's expired.
Yeah.
a bit of to and fro and stuff. Not sure if he's going to get on a flight or everything else. Never mind anything else that was going on at the time, like the whole COVID-19 and the potential that should the summit be happening or not happening. Yeah, he's just not going to get there because he's got no ID.
Yeah.
Got it sorted. Got on the flight though.
Yeah. And by all means, put in a killer session. So
Yeah, exactly.
we
So
finished
again,
off with
thanks
that.
to everybody.
I mean, I think at that point we just took a little bit of down. So we had to do a little bit of clear up, get things done before the end of the day for packaging everything up. We headed back to the hotel room when the pub quiz started. So we actually got in halfway along the pub quiz, I think,
Yes.
just as our
Yeah, it
baby
was about
pictures were
halfway through.
going up, weren't they?
Yeah, just in time for our baby pictures. I don't know who actually got mine right or not. I know Janet was like that, looking at me, going, "Is that you?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can't tell you." But yeah, I don't know who else did or didn't. But it's still quite funny that they were there. The pub quiz looked like an absolute blast.
Yeah.
It looked like a riot
I think Andrew Bibby
in the
was
best way.
amazing with it.
Yeah,
It was good. The venue was good. Everything was good about it. I mean, I don't actually think I can complain about anything apart from lack of sleep.
yeah. Which, let's be honest, we know that's going to happen. We took it upon ourselves and done what we done. Put it all together. So the pub quiz was awesome. The one thing I really probably personally want to thank everybody for is obviously during the keynote speech and on the day we had the Kilbride Hospice charity, and John kind of put out a little bit of a message just asking everybody to put some money into it, and through the donations on the day and some various other funds and things like that that have been happening and some money matching and stuff like that, we've raised over £1,500 for them.
Which is
It's
unbelievable.
an amazing, it's amazing. Like at the point we were putting it together, I wasn't sure if we'd get anything or not. Obviously, that way I took a lot of pressure on myself. That was probably the thing I put the most pressure on myself from
Yeah.
the whole event. I wanted to make sure it was there and that it was worthwhile. And it's a great local charity. I appreciate not everybody at that event was local, and that's the thing about something like that. It's just that paying it forward that little bit. It's a free event, stick a couple of quid in, and there was some people done that. There was Marius wasn't even at the event,
Yep.
put in over £100 himself because he knows it's a good cause and stuff like that. And as he says, it means that he doesn't get one thing that he wants over somebody getting something they need. That statement itself just kind of put it together for me.
Yep. And looking at it, I think we're almost at £2 per person who attended, aren't we? When we work out numbers wise.
We're not shy off it actually.
So
I think at the moment we're sitting at about 15.50.
So yeah, about
So
40 quid. I think myself and you can top that up and make it £2 per person.
Yeah, which is awesome. That's an amazing achievement. Thank you very much.
So what else has been going on in the world after this? I mean, the thing is, we're pretty much the last event that has run. Everything else has been cancelled. Like
I mean,
MVP Summit. I mean, I'm going to go on a list of things that I've been cancelled on. It's like, here, Mark, do you want to go to Seattle for MVP Summit? Yeah, great. Okay, here you go. Do you want to go to Amsterdam? Yeah, great. What about Tel Aviv? What about Berlin? What about Stockholm? Yeah, that sounds great. Well, pal, we're cancelling it all. You're not getting a summer holiday this year. Like, oh,
it's crazy right now, isn't it? Exactly what's going on in the world. But we need to do it. We need to slow that curve down.
exactly. I mean, what it does show is we're not as prepared as a society as everyone thinks we are. We've got all. Could you imagine this happened in like the 70s or the 80s? Nobody has internet. Nobody has WhatsApp.
Spanish flu.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Spanish flu was absolutely disastrous when it happened, and at the moment we don't seem to have learned much from it. Massively, we have advanced in technology. We've got WhatsApp, we've got the house party app now, so we can all sit in the house and have a party
What's that?
on our phones. It's a new app, it's the new social media app thing that's kind of kicking about where you set up a room and everybody can join it, so you can have like 50 people into it. It's like a Teams type chat, video chat thing where you get
It's
house party,
Mr.
but
It's like Noel Edmonds and Mr. Blobby on it because that to me is the only house party there is.
It does have games and stuff in it.
Brilliant.
So you can do various things like that. So that's a big thing that's going to come on. So we've got this technology, that's brilliant. You've got a movie streaming platform which has got that the share thing where you can sit and watch, so you don't need to do that and chill. You can do that and watch with other people, which in one hand's good, but then I don't like going to cinema and chatting. I don't like watching the movie and chatting. So that idea for me is a bit
I think when sports come
out there.
back live, that will be good.
Yeah, so that element of that would be good, but
When Man City
the
beat
stream bit,
Liverpool and I can shout at Matt Beard and laugh at him because he's Scouse, that is my way forward.
yeah, but on the strength of that as well, you've got Netflix have reduced their bandwidth in Europe.
You see, so I was watching product placement here, Better Call Saul this morning, like season 5, and I didn't
hmm
notice any difference. It was still streaming in 4K for me.
So if you're an Ultra 4K user, etc., you'll still get your 4K. You will still see it like
Right,
that way.
okay.
They've obviously changed the codec of it to some extent or done something, but they've massively reduced the bandwidth. Skype, Teams, Microsoft are reducing the bandwidth on that for video chats and calls. So there's lots of things like that. So even though we have moved forward in technology massively, there's an element when you're so dependent on technology that if the internet goes down, work from home,
Yeah,
that's hard. Streaming, hard. Most people stream their TV now, whether it's,
yeah,
well, actually, even like I've got Virgin Media at home, so that's all through the cable. Even my Virgin Media box is through the cable, so I get TV, just standard TV that I pay for through that, as well as then streaming through like iPlayer and all the rest of it. I get my TV license. So there's massive amounts of that we're so technology dependent
yeah.
that it's going to be crazy. Is that infrastructure there to take that or not? Time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we've been quite lucky with is there's a group of us. I mean, how many is there's about 20 or 30 people who are all at different times of the day playing Xbox.
hmm
We can like jump on in our group, play some Xbox, jump out, a little bit of Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto. It's connecting with people. It's just having that little bit of
Yeah.
chat and saying, "All right, what's going on?" And
Power Platform crew
yeah,
represent.
I mean, that's going to be the next sort of decent T-shirt we get, isn't it?
Yeah, but so there's that. There's a few Teams calls. Emma and Dave were running a couple of Teams calls last week. Hopefully they continue that this week as well. Where they've got some team calls to drop in and out of. Same thing for that chat because, like me and you, we've worked from home and we've been isolated, if you want to call it that. For me, I just call it normal,
Yeah.
but a lot of people call it isolated. We've been doing this for years now, working, even when we work for partners, I'm obviously contracting, but it's still the same thing. I work from home at least 50% of the week
But it's
at the
different.
moment.
So it is different working from home and working from home with everyone else home at the same time
Yes,
because I feel that I have to go in and check on everyone rather than just concentrate and do what I need to do. It's two totally different ball games.
there's definitely an element of it. Like the situation I'm in with my partner, she's been made redundant this year,
Yeah.
uh, and was off work with her dad and stuff like that last year. So Jen's been around the house more than what normally would be, but I still feel that like I don't like being in the same room when I'm working with her. I still like to kind of take my work away, but I think that's one of the things where I've always instilled that work from home. And you said it there yourself, you have to go in to check on them.
Yeah.
You still take yourself away and you still go to a space that is your work environment
Yeah. So yeah,
because
that's
that's what
maybe
you have.
where it's different with me. Whereas I've got the office,
Yes.
I come out to the office, which is now it's actually taking over more as a gym than an office, but it's starting to.
Well, I'll show you my new weights. By the way, I'll send you a picture. You're going to love them. But
Oh, you've not got one of those big like monkey bells, have you?
no, so
You know the one I'm
yeah,
talking about, the Joe Rogan one, the big monkey bell thing.
no, it's not. It's not a big monkey kettlebell
Yeah.
thing. But I'll come back to it in a minute. Where yeah, the work from you've got the office space, so you can go out and you can do that stuff there. And for me, I've got like I don't have an office anymore out in the shed because I ripped the power out of it. But I've still got a space where I go and work. I set it up as an office, and at the end of the day, I close it down. I take my laptop, I hide it because I know fine well that if I don't, I'll try and log on later on or I'll do something. So I've now purposely like I don't go on my laptop at night anymore, which has been weird following Summit because normally I'd sit at the laptop and because you've got a few things to do, a couple of emails to send or some images to proof or something like that. There was always something going on up to that point, but the last couple of weeks I made a point of turning it off, going a walk, putting it in my bag and going out.
You're not even allowed to walk anymore.
Interesting though, because I've got a dog. He needs out. I don't really know how that works.
Yeah, I think that what they say is as long as you're not more than 2 meters
Yeah,
beside somebody,
it's the
it's fine.
social distancing. It's the social distance element that's still prime there. It's the crossing the road if you see somebody or making sure that you're not around them. Now, it blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean,
People are
there's
doing that
still,
regularly.
it's ridiculous. There's still some absolute idiots that are like, oh yeah, let's
Some
go
of
and do
it's
this.
still
Like,
absolutely.
there's somebody that we know whose parent or in-law is self-isolating, and they went to visit them yesterday. Oh, it was okay. We were just standing in the garden, and we were like, what? So that means you're now going to have to self isolate for 14 days. No, no, we never touched, we never seen them. Like, you were in the vicinity of them. Fucking Jesus.
Well, as long as if you're 2 meters away, I mean, you get lots of people do this, but they'll still go and visit. I don't know if I agree with that because if
Nah.
people in homes, etc., and they've got elderly parents or people in hospitals and stuff like that, they'll go and they'll talk to them through a window. There was one that I seen, it was on Reddit, so it was a picture of a guy that was going to visit his dad, and he took a deck chair and sat outside his dad's window,
Yeah.
and the two of them were on mobile phones talking to each other.
Which you can understand. I do get
Yeah.
it. I totally get it, but there's
So
still.
in that instance, I think you can still visit people as long as you're staying 2-3 meters away
Do you know
at the
the
moment.
biggest thing that resonates with me? Have you seen the little flip book of the match? Like the rows of matches, and it's like
Yes.
25 matches. They strike the first one, and they all keep going on fire, and then they show you it again. But just by taking one match out, the social distancing, the first four get it. You take that match out, and the next 44 don't get it. It's like that's the sort of thing that totally. Even Boris Johnson could get that.
So the thing with that image, it depends on the one you're talking about. There's one where you've got maybe 30 matches in a line, and one of them's only pulled back 50%.
Yeah. Okay.
That's still going to burn. Like
Yeah.
there's no social distancing in that. All they've done is they're not going to be at the point where the sulfur lights, but once that match burns down, they're still going to light. They're still the bridge. But yeah, there's another one which I think is the right one, and it has to be completely withdrawn. You have to make a bridge. You have to air gap that
Yes.
so that it can't transfer. And it transfers through touch. You're not really going to get it from a kid coughing on you and stuff like that. That's not really going to be spread. The spread's about touching door handles, each other, and things. And then you touch your face, and that's when it starts going into your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, your pores, whatever. So that's kind of seems to be more how it spreads at the moment. So social distancing is important.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't go and visit someone, but if you do visit them, you're not sitting down having a cup of coffee. As Nicola Sturgeon says, if you feel that things are normal, then
Then
you're not doing it right.
yeah, exactly. It's. I mean, I personally think it's irresponsible if you're out. Like there was videos of folk up in the north of Scotland all going out on like a big walk together. I'm like, how?
Mm.
Oh,
People going out bike rides, people doing all this. Like there's people at the weekend going to Loch Lomond
yeah. It's like
because it was quite a nice day in central Scotland yesterday. Like I was in the back garden most of the day. Don't get me wrong, it was a little chilly, but the sun was out. You could have, if you shut your eyes, you could have believed you were anywhere. But I suppose you could say that with anything. But it was. The sun was decent when it was out. So we sat in the garden all day. But folk went out as if they were on their summer holidays.
I mean, this is the summer holidays for most folk.
It is. It's going to be, but I don't know. So the work from home, I think, in the current situation that we're in, you need to make sure you've got your breaks.
Yes.
When you work from home, the one thing that I'll say to anybody that's new to it, you're used to doing what your 9 to 5 in the office. But that 9 to 5 is broken up by people coming and talking to you. You going and getting a cup of coffee or a tea or going for your lunch and just having walks. When you work from home, you don't have that.
No.
So you end up, you don't take breaks.
Yeah, I mean,
The work that would normally take you 6 hours or would be a whole day, you can get done in 3 hours or 4 hours because you're not taking a break. It's not because you're working harder or
yeah,
you're
it's
working,
because you're
sorry, you're working harder, you're not working smarter. You need to still take your breaks and take your own time. It's all about your mental health at this point in time.
yeah, and we've talked about this on multiple different podcasts. So, right, a couple of tips from we'll each put a couple of tips in on how to do this. So,
Hmm.
So for me, things that make me kind of forget or tune in and tune out is podcasts. This isn't a plug for us. Don't listen to us. We hate our own voices, so you must hate us as well. But listen to podcasts or the radio. It feels like you're part of a conversation.
Yes.
There's some really good podcasts where you feel like they're talking to you or with you and not at you. So, podcasts, music that you like, get up, walk about. If you are working from home with people, take regular breaks. Go out and just go and talk to them. Go and speak to people within your house. Pick up the phone, speak to somebody. One of the things that I've said all along is FaceTime. FaceTime or WhatsApp video or
That's
whatever.
I was going to say the WhatsApp video. Lots of people don't realise that you can do WhatsApp video and have up to, is it 3 other people, 4 other people? I think it's three.
Can
A
you?
limit of three in the chat. Yeah, you can have 3 people in a WhatsApp video chat.
That's quite cool. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
We'll have to give that a try. We'll call a few folk up after this actually, and let's just get everyone on board.
Yeah, so you can have that chat there and you can do your FaceTimes and all that stuff. And I think for me, like sitting down watching the telly is a bad move because you just become a bit vegetative at that point in time. So it's not saying don't do it, but I think one of the important things about working from home that we're all going to have to do is set a timetable.
Yes.
Whether it's a bit of paper or whether it's written on a wall or whatever, but make sure you get up in the morning and do something. Get dressed.
Yep.
I
Shower.
mean, and I don't, and I don't mean, and I don't mean get dressed in a shirt and tie. I just mean don't kick about in your jammies all day. You're not having a duvet day. Kick about in shorts and t-shirt if that's what you do normally. If that's like, but something that you would still go out in if you needed to. But get dressed, get a shower, brush your teeth, brush your hair.
Yep.
I know it sounds stupid because you're like, well, I'm at home, I'm not going to see anybody. But these are the things that make sure you still have that routine.
Yep. I mean that's exactly. I mean, especially like me with this office. Get up, have a shower, and me coming out to the office is me going to work. So
Yes.
so getting up, getting ready, um, is going to the office. So keep a routine. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I'll be brutally honest. Over the weekend, my sofa has my ass cheeks implanted in it because there was nothing to do. Like
Hmm.
the gym's closed. I mean, I know I've got the gym out here, but I never came out until Saturday afternoon. So my ass cheeks were firmly embedded in my chair.
Which isn't a bad thing.
It is because I went down a bloody Reddit spiral.
Well, it's maybe a bad thing as to where that Reddit spiral took you, but the idea of sitting down doing nothing for a day is not a bad thing. But Reddit is a great. I mean, since I've became really, I still have a Facebook, but I totally deactivated it. I've got nothing really on it. I've got a few groups I'm part of, like the gym is the main reason why I still have Facebook. To be fair, if I wasn't going to the gym and had that community page in the gym, I wouldn't have Facebook. But certainly, ever since doing that, looking at your usage of screen time, Reddit is always up there. It's totally where I waste my time.
Yeah. I mean, it's just there's so many. The thing is, right? There's so many different subreddits. So I mean, we all know that we like wrestling, we like hockey, we like football. So all of them are great. But when you go into a spiral, you go into a spiral. Like I was looking at yesterday, and I tweeted it out. How thick a penguin's coat was. I mean, how the fuck did I get there? What subreddit was I on that took me down that path?
The best one is when you hit random and you just go and pick a random one. You're looking at it. Like, I've just opened up random just now and I've hit, oh, it's YouTube. That's not that random. I'm not that interested. There we are.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, you just go totally down. So if I go, let's go reddit.com and let's see what it's going to give us today.
But there's some amazing today I learned stuff in there where you're just like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
So
I was X days old when I found that out.
so here's a totally really random thing that has just come up, and it's freaking me out a little bit. So the fourth on the list on Ask Reddit are what are some good internet rabbit holes to fall into during this time of quarantine?
Oh man,
It's
asking
like,
that
oh
on
no,
Reddit.
yeah. Honestly, you just like today I learned yeah that those are good ones, but you get the total like unexpected.
There's a lot of
or
humour. There's a lot of humour in Reddit, right? And a lot of it could be offensive to some people as well. So you need to be careful, right? But
yes,
there's like I think probably Reddit's called Reddit because when you see something on another social media platform, you're like, I've read that.
yeah. Oh, right. So here's one. This is totally off piste here, but one about documentaries. We watched the first episode of this the other night. It was Tiger King: Murder, Mayhem, and Madness. You need to have a watch of that. So if you like, I mean, you know what I'm like with my murder stuff,
Oh
podcasts.
man.
And there was the one on Netflix before, Don't Fuck with the Cats. So this is like, it's not the same thing, but it's like a new documentary crew were following this guy around recording anyway, and then he starts to like bring up a hit list of people. And it's like, wow, you've actually got this guy's mind as he's going through it, and you're recording for a normal documentary. This is mental.
That is nuts. Right, I'm going to check that out at some point. Definitely, that needs to get a look in.
Yeah. So, what other work from home tips are there? So, I think for me, working out.
Take your lunch and go elsewhere. Working out is a massive one, right? I normally go to the gym 3-4 times a week.
Oh, wait a minute here. There was some dick on Instagram yesterday outside posting pictures doing workouts on my Instagram. I was like, what is this dick all about? And then I noticed it was you.
me.
No,
First time
that
I've
is
ever done
brilliant.
it in my garden. So it was a sunny
It was,
day, and
it was good.
do you know what? It was absolutely grueling. I'd done all in was probably about 45, 50 minutes, which isn't my normal gym session, but the normal gym session I do strength and conditioning twice a week and then athletic training at the weekend. I say athletic training, I am not athletically built in any way whatsoever, but that's what I do on a Saturday. And then vomit profusely. But yeah, so I thought, I need to do this. I've been self-isolating for a week, stepped back from the gym. The gym was still open, but I chose not to go. I'd ordered a few bits and pieces like a glute loop, some resistance bands, and then I tried to get I tried to get a kettlebell last week.
Okay.
I could get one that was 4 kilos. I normally lift anything from a 16 up to a 32, depending on what I'm doing in the gym on the kettlebell. I could get 4 kilos or 5 kilo kettlebells. I couldn't get anything else other than that. And also, I had no idea kettlebells were so expensive to buy a proper steel one.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Even
I've
going
got
back,
one. I've got 7.5 in my hand right now. But I think that's the biggest. I've got two. I think that's the biggest one. I think I've got a 7.5 and a 5.
so I ended up messaging the gym that I go to, and I was like, "Any chance I can borrow some kettlebells since you're shut?" So I went down. I got a 16 and an 8.
Okay.
So I was able to do a bit of a workout yesterday, as you've seen me doing my first sort of stretching and things like that, and I've got old fashioned style clothes poles, like the metal ones that are cemented and concreted into the ground.
Yeah.
I've still got some of them in my garden. I'm grateful right now we didn't get rid of them, so I put my resistance bands around them, but also use them as markers to do sprints between, and high knees and figure eights and side steps and all that sort of stuff. So I've done a bit of a athletic conditioning, strength conditioning, stuff like that. But the gym are now going to move to online. So
Okay.
I'm going to do some more of that stuff starting tonight. So for me, going to the gym is a massive thing.
Yeah.
But still try to do something in the house. Whether there's loads now that are free. There's loads of people that are doing them free at the moment.
So one of the cool things I've done is out in the office I've got the PlayStation. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a yoga app for the PlayStation that costs me a fiver.
Nice.
So I have to move my stuff around a little bit, but I've got the yoga mat down and I've got that ready just to go.
Well, you've got a yoga mat. I tried to get one of them as well.
Yeah.
I tried too late.
I had bought this around Christmas when I got all the rest of the gym gear. I had to take it over a certain value to get more vouchers. Right, I'll just grab
Okay.
that.
I kind of wish I had one. I've got a camping mat in the loft, so I'm going to go bring that down because then at least I've got something that I can do it on. But I was the idea in my back garden, making up a routine. I've never done that in my life. I don't know whether I'm extremely proud or extremely dissatisfied with myself.
No, it's a good thing. It's using your initiative. I mean, so I've got my bike, I've got my cross trainer, my weight bench, I've even got myself a 10 kilo medicine ball,
Oh,
which
nice.
I thought, yeah, this will be good. I'll just lift them up and like do dump, like I'll lift up and drop behind my back. It actually makes a big dent in the garden, so I think I'll have to stop that one. But yeah, it's been innovative with
Mm,
stuff. Mindfulness apps as well is a huge thing. Any sort of
yeah,
meditation.
definitely.
Do I mean I've
It's just taking that time out again, isn't it? It's having that separation, I think, as well. As that's your work, that's your house, that's your dinner, and then there's time for you. You need to make sure that your mental health is up
yeah.
there.
Now, honestly, meditation though is good. I mean, I know folk think, oh yeah, you need to be in lycra in a funny position. You don't at all. You can do it seated as long as you're in the right mind frame. Stick a set of earphones in. Stick on like a beginner's one where you get the first 3 or 4 hours free, and just do it for a couple of weeks. Honestly, that 5 minutes, 10 minutes at a time actually just clears your head and makes you think a lot more. Not well, sorry, I said makes you think. It makes you not think.
Yeah,
You concentrate on your breathing. You concentrate on your surroundings. Try and push your energy out. It just makes you just lose all the thoughts that you've had in your head. So I mean, it's a quite a good thing to do.
but yeah. So, and everybody else will have their own coping mechanisms, their own things they like to do. Whether it's building Legos, another one I love, or playing musical electrics. I suppose if somebody's got electrics or trains, Hornby sets. I don't know. There'll be things that you just need to make a bit of time for, and the one thing you have at the moment is time.
Yes. Now, one of the things. So what I've also been because I've not done some that's taken up a lot of time. I've not done any blogging. I've not done any messing around with little bits of tech, and that's the thing that, yeah, I know it is work related, but it's not for me because it's something I actually like doing. So I was playing around
Mm.
and created a Power Virtual Agent on Friday night, just for shits and giggles. But somebody did over the weekend drop me a little message on LinkedIn to say that they've created a COVID-19 chatbot that
Okay, what's that going to do?
basically you ask it questions. So basically, right, I've got it here, right? So if I click on
Can I
hi,
ask it what the cure is?
right, so I've just basically, the trigger phrase is hi. So it's like, welcome to Renato Romeo's chatbot. Thanks for searching about COVID-19 and I hope that you protect yourself. What would you like to know more about? Do you want to know about the disease basics and how it spreads? So if I click on one of them, it then gives me information on it. It gives me links to go off to as well.
That's a cool resource, actually.
It is different and I really like it. It's something,
It's a good use of the chatbot and stuff as well, and the whole platform and how it can pull all that and push that information out and give you a bit more. That's cool. I like that. I like that.
yep. So did I answer the question? Yep. Rate your experience. Awesome, Renato. That was great. I will share it on social media. So you'll be able to see that. And it is just something to pick up. It gives you information. I mean, I don't think anyone's turned off from the news because you can't get away from it on every single channel. But
I've
if
turned off all my alerts.
if you want any sort of information, it is a good little resource to have a look at.
Mm. I think that's better for me. That's one of the things that I've done is I've stopped watching the news to some extent. If I need to know about it, I'll hear about it. I've turned off a lot of the alerts from news apps and stuff on my phone because it's part of I was talking about earlier, is having a schedule. I've given myself half an hour to sit down at the night. Not too late at night 'cause I don't want to go to bed thinking about it, but just after I finish work, so about 6 till 7, I'll sit down and then try and catch up with everything and take it in for the day because I don't need it during the day. I don't have the headspace for it to take it on at that point at the moment.
See, I just hate the news, especially
Hmm.
the news to me has become a bit like the Kardashians. I mean, you've got folk like Piers Morgan who are so scaremongering, and it's just, what's the point? Give me
Do
factual
you know what?
information or GTF.
I'll give Piers Morgan his props. This morning he went off on a bit of a rant, which I'm sure you can go on YouTube. I've not seen it all, but I've seen a good kind of 30 seconds of it, and that might actually be all of it. But basically, he was saying, "What are you guys doing? You're going out. you've been asked to do one thing, and that's stay indoors and sit and watch television. That's all you have to do, is sit and watch TV, and you can't even do that.
Yep. No, I think I've seen a bit of that. You just kind of think, why folk? Why?
Yeah, unless you really need to. Like, I've been going to look after my parents a bit this weekend, and even today we took them stuff down, put it on their doorstep, rang the doorbell, and ran away.
Game of
It's
chappy
like the
chappy.
kindest chappy ever. Aye, it's like the kindest chappy ever. You're not just chapping the doorbell and running away. You're leaving stuff and running away.
I mean, when I was a kid, it was leaving a bag of shite and setting it on fire and running
Setting on
away.
fire. Aye, I didn't want to talk about that element of it, but aye, that was the other one. Not that I ever did that, right?
Do you know, I'll freely admit as a child I was a nightmare, and that was one thing that I would have done.
No, that means you touched dog poo to put in that bag. You dirty git. Anyway.
Oh, you just used
Aye.
Oh.
It's like chasing somebody on a stick. It's interesting place, interesting times right now, and I think we could have a whole other separate session, and we probably should do, about COVID, and get some guests on as well to talk about it,
Yeah.
and talk about the experiences, because, as I say, we're quite seasoned at working from home.
Yes.
So, talking about isolation, talking about all this at the moment, I joked at the weekend. We joked yesterday with the missus, basically saying, I don't know what people are upset about. This is normal life for me. Like, I've got no social life at nights at the moment because I'm downtime. I work in the house. I don't really leave the house. If I don't cross the threshold, I can deal with that to some extent until I get told I'm not allowed to do it.
Yes.
And that's when it starts playing on your mind. That's where the game changer comes in for it.
Yep.
That's where it gets interesting, I think.
Yeah. No, it is just making sure that you're in the right space mentally for it.
Yep. And on that note, if anybody wants to reach out and have a chat, and it doesn't need to be a podcast chat, I just mean in general.
Yep.
You want to talk to some random Scottish dude about anything? Well, pretty much anything. There's not really many topics that'll be off limits, but I mean, we're always here. We can jump on Teams, jump on something like the Zencast that we use to record this or whatever, and just have a chat if anybody needs it.
Yeah, and I think what we're going to try and do is get hopefully a podcast out every week, or maybe even two. We're probably not going to do our long format, in depth, tell us about what have you come from, where have you gone, Cotton Eye Joe, and all that sort of stuff. But it's going to be a half hour, quick. Tell us about your social media. Tell us what you've been up to. A bit like the kind of bite-sized ones we did do on the CRM Audio Network.
Just a bit of a chat, just some random bants more than anything else. Like, well, it'll be what it'll be. We don't tend to script things. Maybe pick a couple of topics and say, let's talk about this or talk about that, but try and have it free flowing.
Yeah, just the more chat and randomness. I mean, we're random as hell as it goes, so
Yep.
I think that'd be it. New podcast coming up.
Before
we did have some recorded for Scottish Summit, but there were a few technical difficulties, shall we say.
Yeah, and there might be some through this as well. I know Mark's dropped out a few times and stuff like that, but you get the gist of what we're saying. Maybe I've dropped out as well, but do you know what? Before we get to an hour and take up the free time that we're telling you should have yourself, we should probably wrap this up for today.
Yep, so we've covered Summit.
Segment, whatever we call it.
Yeah, we've covered Summit, we've covered viruses, working from homes, tips, tricks and trades, and the awesomeness of everyone who gave money to the Kilbride Hospice, which is our main big giveaway or takeaway from Scottish Summit.
Yeah, definitely.
So yes, we are about. We are on social media. You can just search for us. We talk enough nonsense, so we're not hard to find. So, and we will probably speak to you all later on in the week.
Cool. Catch you later on.
Cheers. Bye.